Hi, this is Alex from phpacademy.org with a video tutorial for the new Boston. In this video we are going to take a look at jQuery plugins, just take a look at what they are, what they can do, how we would search for plugins, and some other information as well that might help you when you're going and choosing a plugin to use. Now obviously when we have a normal file, for example I just have index.php open in my browser, we've included jQuery and perhaps an external script if required. However, that's not always necessary. Obviously the external script just goes ahead and makes sure we don't need to use any JavaScript on this page. We just include the file. Now if you wanted to go ahead and actually add to the current jQuery library, there's a list of plugins available on the jQuery.com website. So if we go over to jQuery.com, we can go ahead and click the plugins tab. You can browse here. The main page that comes up is browsing by type. However, let's just go ahead to top plugins and take a look down the list. Now plugins are essentially built for the purpose of if you have some kind of functionality you need to add to your website, however you're not comfortable with writing it yourself and you need a quick way to implement something, usually visual, into your script. There's a lot of options available in the form of plugins. So just looking down this list, you can see a few already. We're going to go over and we're going to take a look at the, let's have a look, let's find it. Let's just come down the page. We've got one here called, where is it gone? Well, I can't find the original one I was looking for, but let's just go for this one here, the rich text HTML editor. Now once you've found a plugin of your choice, go ahead and read the description. In this case this one is still in beta testing, so obviously looking out for these kinds of things are important. Now you'll often find a downloads link, or you can view the original page that this is from, so it will be perhaps someone's personal blog or something, and then you can go ahead and actually download the plugin. So another way you can do this is to go ahead and just perform a simple Google search for let's say jQuery plugins. Just here we found an article, 30 fantastic new jQuery plugins, 37 more shocking jQuery plugins, and these kinds of results often show you quick demos, so they have quick online demos, as well as linking to the original author's demos as well. These might also not be listed on the jQuery website, so you might find additional jQuery plugins that have been written by people and just posted on their own personal website, for example. And the other benefit is you'll get reviews as well, so people will be reviewing this plugin and giving it a bit of a rating, so they'll probably give it some kind of rating. As well as that, obviously the titles just go to show that they've collected together a good collection of plugins to show to a user. Obviously they wouldn't be blogging about it if they weren't very good. So plugins can be implemented into a page once you've downloaded them, as you would jQuery. We've already mentioned that briefly, and you would do it somewhat similar to how we've done it here, but obviously you would always go ahead and read the instructions on the user's website, or the plugin description on jQuery.com. Now the majority of the time when server-side processing is required, PHP will be used because it's such an available and easy to write language. So if you are downloading plugins, make sure you check if you have any additional files that might use AJAX requests to PHP documents. So make sure you have a PHP enabled server before you download these, or they'll be no use to you. And make sure you're comfortable with using this PHP processing as well. Obviously there are other web development languages that can be used. However, the majority of the time PHP is the most popular. Another thing to point out is that when you return to, say, jQuery.com, always take a look at the version number as well. We've already noted that this re-editor, rich text HTML editor is in beta testing, and this will have beta just here. So always check back just to see if there's an updated version of a particular plugin. This might be for security reasons, this might be for functionality reasons, it might even be edited or changed to keep up with jQuery original library, so you might see new functions appear, or if you use a different version of jQuery, a more updated version, you might see the functionality in the plugin disappear because something might have changed. So always check back on either the author's website or jQuery.com, depending where you got this from, to check the latest version. Now the other thing is, if we will return to our text editor, if you were to go ahead and install a jQuery plugin for absolutely everything, for example, there are jQuery plugins that can reference or select a text area and limit the input of text and display how many characters are remaining, for example. Now this is relatively easy to do with jQuery alone, so a plugin might not be required. If you tend to add a lot of plugins to your page, you're going to find it's going to bloat your document out with lots of unnecessary code. So by implementing too many plugins, you might be slowing down your script. So it's probably better to only use plugins where the work can't be done any more quickly than you'd be able to do it, or that might not work as well. So if you're new to jQuery, you probably might feel the temptation to go ahead and install a load of plugins and use them from different parts of the website. Now, apart from the downsides that I have mentioned, you might get plugin conflicts as well, depending on how well the plugins are written. So there are many problems to adding too much JavaScript to a page. You're going to completely decrease the loading time. So only look for plugins that you wouldn't be able to write yourself. Not just saying wouldn't be able to write yourself off the top of your head, but try and research different ways to do things before you go and install plugins. The example I gave, we could create a text area, and for example, say you wanted to limit this to a certain amount of characters. This might be called text. Over in another file, you might go and write something like text dot counter, for example, or countdown, and this might implement some kind of system to say allow only 200 characters and count down as the user starts typing. Now we've already looked at a tutorial in this tutorial series where we can do this. Therefore, if you create your own code and go ahead and keep that up to scratch and keep that working well, you are minimizing in some cases minimizing the amount of code you require. Often plugins come with unnecessary styling, and also if you were going to go ahead and write your own plugins or just include your own functionality, for example, in an external JavaScript file, you're also able to style this exactly as you want. You could come over to a style sheet and style this exactly as you want. Not saying that plugins aren't useful, but try to only install plugins where you feel like you wouldn't be able to do anything that would produce the same effect. So that's a quick introduction on plugins. In the next couple of videos, we're going to be picking some specific plugins and we're going to be learning how to install them, just so we can get to grips with downloading and installing and implementing plugins. So that was a quick introduction on jQuery plugins.